There you go. I think we've started. Hopefully we should see some people starting to come in. Hi, Sue. Welcome in. Angela, Miles. Hello. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Remy.
Feel free to say hello in chat. We're just going to give it a few minutes for people to roll in and get going. Shall we pretend like we haven't spoken before this? Thomas, should we say hello to each other like this is just the first time we're meeting?
Well, nice to meet you, Lewis.
Yes, yeah.
It is definitely, good to acquaint you myself with you.
How are things with you? Are you good?
Sure, yeah. It's been a busy start of the year, especially for us developers. People have been away for Christmas, and we've had heads full of ideas on how to, the typical thing in software companies. So now we are working on a few exciting things in the company. But yeah, other than that, good.
This is the problem with SaaS products: is they never end. They're never done.
Never finishes. Yeah. We've got. I don't know if Paul is attending, our success manager, but when he joined us like 2 years ago, it seemed to me that he was like always telling us, customers need this, and this, and if only we could add those two things, we would be perfect. And those two things have been coming and new two things every single month.
Yeah.
And we keep adding, but at the same time, the app gets a lot better and better. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Welcome in, everyone. If you're just joining, you haven't missed anything yet. We're just getting started. Just going to leave it a little bit, another couple of minutes for people to drop in. I think it's standard these days for people to turn up to these things like 5 minutes late. So
yeah, let's give it a minute or two.
Time.
Yeah.
Just for the people that are here, if you want to chat, there is a chat function there. A couple of people just discovering that. Oh, it's Thomas. Thomas is in chat. So if you want to chat between you guys as attendees, feel free to do that. If you've got a specific question that you want answering as we go through, there is a Q&A section. I'd ask that you can put any questions within there, just so I can keep a track of them and answer them as we go through.
Happy to answer anything around customer reviews if you have any questions about your review strategy and whatever that comes to mind. I can speak day and night about reviews. I have an okay knowledge about the rest of the stuff, but anything around customer reviews, please go ahead.
That's why we're here today. We're going to be grilling you about customer reviews and hopefully leaving everyone with significantly more knowledge than they came in with. Just a couple more minutes, guys. I'm not sure why chat is disabled. Let me check that for you, Paul.
Did I just message hosts and panelists?
Yeah, but everybody should be able to chat. I can't see why chat would be disabled.
A Q&A still works.
Q&A is working, so you can chat with us directly. The problem is here, people, if I start fiddling around with the settings, we could end up ending the whole webinar here just by accident.
By accident. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too.
If you guys stick to the Q&A if you've got any questions. Hey Paul, thanks for joining. Part of Thomas's team. You're the guy that's driving him to add all this new function, right?
Yeah. That's him. That's okay. Paul.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's get started. We've got a few people in, and I'm sure there'll be a couple more dropping in as we go. Thomas, I suppose we should start by you explaining who you are and where you're from and what you do would be a really good start.
Sure. So I am the founder of Openu, and we've been around for about 7-8 years in the Shopify ecosystem, and we're helping merchants with everything around social proof and reviews. So we are a review app in the Shopify ecosystem that helps people gather reviews, import them. So let's say if you had your Amazon, your reviews on Amazon, you've been selling there, we help you bring them over, and then we help you use them in every way possible that could help you. And some of those things that you could use the reviews on, we will be talking about today. So that's in short, and myself, I'm based in Glasgow, UK. The team is distributed, so we're all over the world. Parts in the UK, parts in Poland, Vietnam, Mexico, and
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, I'll introduce myself very briefly. People are probably sick of seeing my face because it's always me that gets pushed into running these webinars. But I'm Lewis. I'm the CMO at Eastside Co. We're a Shopify Plus agency. We do everything from web design, website builds, marketing, creative, anything you can think of in the e-commerce ecosystem. We're looking after and heavily focused on Shopify as a platform. So hopefully today, between myself and Thomas, we will be able to take you through kind of all things user-generated content. We're going to be heavily focusing on reviews specifically. So I'll start by asking you, Thomas. You mentioned that one of the functions of your app is migrating reviews from platforms like Amazon into platforms like Shopify, I suppose. Is that a trend that you're seeing at the moment in the industry with lots of people who are typically Amazon sellers that are trying to build up direct to consumer, an owned direct to consumer site?
Yeah, we see new customers coming in all the time who have been successfully selling, for 20, 30 years, even through normal retailers. But ever since, the internet e-commerce explosion that we started seeing, in the early 2010s, Shopify started being a prominent commerce platform that enabled an easy access to online shopping. Suddenly, if you were a company that maybe has been, quite an old school thing running through their known channels through retailers, suddenly your marketing manager could spin up a Shopify store and quickly go to the CEO and show like, guys, look, it's actually not that easy. We don't have to spend $1 million on building a custom website and custom cart functionality. We could either do it ourselves or do it for a quarter of that price with an agency like yours, and suddenly this is achievable. They can spin up a different sales channel where customers can buy directly from them, where they have full control, and they retain all the profit margins basically, or as much as they don't spend on ads and as much as they optimize. So yeah, we've got tons of brands that have been historically selling on Amazon, but you don't want to share 20, 30, 40% of profits with them. So then a lot of people actually go and take that risk to create their own Shopify store and give it a shot. Like I think that overall, long term, if you look at the industry, let's say in 5 or 10 years, I think this is going to be standard. That if you want to start a brand or if you want to have a successful brand, you're going to be selling everywhere it is humanly possible, be it through a retailer like Tesco or Walmart, through Amazon, through eBay, wherever your customers are, you're going to have to be there to maximize.
I think it's interesting because we've seen a similar spate of people who either companies that are purchasing Amazon brands or Amazon brands that are trying to create a direct to consumer relationship And also vice versa, where Shopify brands are looking to sell on Amazon. And we're always slightly wary of it that way around, because obviously it's a great sales channel, Amazon is, and you can get a lot of volume through that. But there's also a huge risk for a direct consumer brand, because you lose that relationship with customers. Amazon largely owns the data. Amazon have a really good history of taking popular products and recreating them, or making them Amazon essentials and selling them, as a direct brand. So I think it's definitely interesting that people are starting to realize that owning that consumer relationship is important. And obviously the reviews are a hugely important part of your reputation, right, on Amazon. So the ability to carry those things across is important. So I suppose off the back of that, talking about transferring reviews over, or even collecting reviews, what's your kind of approach on why you think reviews are important? I'm sure this might be obvious to lots of people, but I'd be really keen to hear from you why you think the reviews are important.
It's the best, or one of the best risk reversal strategies that you can add to your sales strategy. So, it's like going to a market and trying to sell, I don't know, handbags, and just saying, oh, I've got amazing handbags. And the difference is where, a group of people suddenly stands around you and says like, wow, this guy has an amazing handbag. He's like a very good seller. The material is great. And it's the same, as your friends telling you, wow, this TV that I bought, look at the quality of the image. That speaks to people 100 times better than the product description, because people know that the booklets or descriptions or the product presentation on the website or on the brochure is always going to be skewed towards presenting the brand in the best way. But what you really want to know is what is the truth. What is the real thing, how reliable it really is, how good and what really is the quality of the product. And you are going to trust independent people to do that. So that's from the mind of a customer. From your perspective as a seller, it basically reverses the risk. So people, when they go on your website, they have that risk of thinking, oh, is it reliable? Is it good quality? So you show them the reviews and they reverse that risk, and suddenly you de-risk the whole buying experience. And that's why when you put reviews, like we had customers, I remember, saying that, suddenly after adding reviews, their conversion rates, doubled. And it's like, wow, they couldn't believe what they are seeing. But it's this human psychology at work, the basic human psychology of by comparison, your friends telling you that their TV is awesome, and that's why you're going to buy it, because you trust them.
Yeah, it's a social proof thing, right? It's you're much more likely, as you say, to purchase something that's been recommended to you. And I think there is probably there are some brands out there that are heavily trusted, but there is probably an innate distrust of companies that are selling a product, because I think the average consumer will look at that and say, their job here is to sell me something, and advertising itself has a pretty murky history of saying and doing things to convince people to purchase things.
Indeed.
And that those things often, skirt around the truth, or at least quite heavily bend it to their will, right? There's lots of very talented copywriters out there that can make average products seem very attractive.
So reviews are, and reviews are one of the ways of the merchant trying to reveal the truth of, to show people how it really is, and to show you that, hey, look, our marketing copy is amazing, but have a look, the reviews are actually confirming what we are telling you.
And do you think there is a mistrust of consumers with reviews themselves? Because I'm sure there are brands out there that purchase reviews or fake reviews, or do you think there is a general mistrust around reviews as well?
it's a massive problem in the industry. You know, I'm not going to lie. There's a problem from and the problem usually originates from merchants. So it's either buying reviews. We've heard, you know, how Amazon is periodically, you know, once a year, maybe you hear about Amazon delisting a bunch of merchants or deleting tens of thousands of fake reviews. It is an issue because, you know, merchants, they realize how powerful reviews are to help them sell, and they will abuse it. You will not have good actors amongst the you know, 100% of good actors amongst the sellers. And, you know, if they see like, hey, look, I have a substandard product, but let me just ask this company online that's advertising, you know, let's buy, you know, ourselves 500 reviews, and suddenly our sales are going to go up. And then if the people that bought, you know, they will write a review, we're just going to curate them. And this is for me, and I'm sure, I mean, I would like to have a conversation with other review app developers, you know, how do they deal with this? Because right now there is no regulation. There is no regulation in terms of, you know, forcing merchants to keep all the reviews. I mean, it's fair that some of the reviews will be written by competition. They will be written by disgruntled, you know, the buyers that want to just write hateful reviews because they want to vent. And that's true. But we find that if you keep a good balanced review section, meaning that you don't remove the 1 and 2 and 3 star reviews, people will convert better because your product looks trustworthy. You know, reviews are not about, reviews aren't another channel similar to your copywriter where your product's supposed to be presented in the best way possible. They're there. Their primary function is to show what is real. And people know that no product is perfect. So if they see your review section having only 5 and 4 star reviews, I mean, it's fishy. Recently, Shopify started, and it's very, very welcome from me. Recently, Shopify started enforcing review apps to, especially the ones that import, to remove the filter that allows you to import only the, you know, reviews of a certain star rating.
Right.
I have been pushing for this, and actually, you know, being in touch with the Shopify support, and, you know, there are competitors. They are actually replacing names of the reviewers. They allow you to change the star rating. They allow you to import selective reviews, and I wasn't happy with that. But we had to implement the star filter because there was no other way. You know, if everybody has it and we don't have it, then we're not going to get customers. You know, we're a business too. And it's as hard as it was for us personally, you know, because you know, we're who on earth would support fraud, you know? But if that's the status quo, then there's nothing you can do. But luckily, I can see that the trend is changing, and it's definitely something that allows me to kind of go better about my day and think that, you know, there's just this much less of fakeness. And we always try to convince our merchants to use the full spectrum of reviews because people care about truth.
And I think, like you say, I think there's been studies done on this, but there is a sweet spot. I think it's like 4.2 or 4.3 stars or something unusual like that, where people will view that as an honest representation.
Yes.
And
between 4.2 and 4.8.
Yeah. So anything, you know, anything above that, if you've got all 5-star reviews, it doesn't matter anyway, because people stop believing it. And the interesting thing as well that I think you kind of miss out on, and this is
Lewis, I think I lost you for a second.
Can you hear me now?
No, we're good. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I think one of the interesting things is that sometimes brands fail to realize is that reviews aren't just an opportunity. There's the one side of it in terms of social proof and conversion rate optimization, but the other side of it is managing those reviews and using those data points as ways to improve, right? So when you're getting 1 and 2 and 3 star reviews, there is an opportunity there with those customers that are kind of in the middle. It's difficult to do with anything with those, but extremely negative reviews, there is an opportunity to turn that around and publicly and positively impact that customer. And there's also data points there that allow you to improve your product and your experience, right?
Sorry, I think I have some connection problem, but I can hear you again now. It's it must be my internet connection. Apologies about this to everybody who's listening. Yeah, so I wanted to add something to what you were saying. So you say that there is an opportunity to turn this around. I lost that bit, but I think what I can add is you can turn it around not only for that customer, but you turn it around for everybody who's looking at the reviews. If you reply to that review, you're not only showing the product, and so reviews are not only about showing how product is trustworthy. Your replies to negative 1 and 2 star and 3 star reviews are there to show your customer service. So this is how you use those negative reviews. You shouldn't perceive them as something that damages your brand, but rather as something that you can use to your advantage to show your customer service, because people will check those negative reviews. And if they don't see your reply, they're like, well, they don't care. They shouldn't probably buy, because if something goes wrong, they're not going to give a damn.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, this is evident when you look at something like a net promoter score. If you're going through that process of trying to get an NPS, part of the process of that is to go to your detractors and figure out what went wrong and why it went wrong, and how you can improve either your service or your product. It's not just there. You need to do something with that data. And like you say, publicly replying and dealing with complaints publicly is a really, really great way to turn those people around, and also to show that you're dealing with problems. I think every customer expects you to have problems as a business. It's just how you deal with those things, right?
Yep, 100% agree. Yep.
So in terms of collecting reviews, there's obviously a standard process to that in terms of somebody purchases a product, to send out an email and request a review. What other different ways that you see people go about collecting reviews or encouraging people to leave reviews? That's one of the first stages, I suppose, of building up the trust on products and as a business, is to collect those reviews. How do you see people doing that?
So email is your standard first thing that you can do. There are two more ways. One is sending people an SMS, and we know that SMS is a lot more frequently opened these days. It's one of those channels that still remains not completely explored, meaning that when you get an SMS, it's like, oh wow, let me open this up. It was like back in the day when you were getting lots of spam through your mail. And then you got an email, you were always checking your email. It's the same thing with SMS. You're not really looking through your email inbox, and not too many companies will send you the spam through post, because it costs a lot more compared to email. So they will, if you send them an SMS, it's more likely they will read it. And then the last thing is, aside from SMS, is some merchants on Amazon. I don't know if you order a lot through them, but some of them would slip in this kind of leaflet inside of the packaging saying, hey, look, if you like the product, go to this URL and review us, or please leave us a review on Amazon. So you utilize every moment when a merchant has some contact with your product, or you time it in the right way. And obviously with email and SMS, you try to time it after they receive the product. But if you actually put a little leaflet asking for a review, that means that the person, it's like 100% open rate. And I completely stole it from this other company called Penny Black, because they do, I think, print on packaging, and their phrase is, that they're the only company with 100% open rate because packaging.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing marketing people will do to spin their stats, but I like it.
Yeah. So the three main ways, and you asked me what you could do to increase the success of getting reviews. One of the best things you can do is offer people a coupon, because the psychology here is, so around 4% of people will leave a review when you ask them through an email once they open. People just don't care. They already paid you money. They invested their time to order and everything. Now you're asking them on top of that to do one more thing. So you need to kind of, incentivize them to do it. So you offer them a coupon, and that usually increases the likelihood of people leaving a review by, twofold. So from about 4 or 5% to about 8, 9, even 10. You can obviously send some reminders, but
yeah, you the other thing is also you're creating an opportunity to increase the lifetime value of that customer, right? You're giving them a reason to come back and purchase
return
again.
Yeah, so we find it, that those coupons, they work pretty well if you connect them with a loyalty program in your company. If you reward people with some extra points, or the loyalty program that they might be already on. Yeah.
And are you seeing, because typically the traditional types of reviews would just be text-based reviews with a star rating maybe or something. Are you seeing a rise in the number of kind of rich media reviews, so like video reviews or photo-based reviews? Is that increasing?
Anything with photo and video, especially videos these days, will sell better. If you can show a person how the product looks like in real life from an actual customer, just like the cliche phrase, a picture means 1,000 words. It's true in here as well, and same with video. So we see, ever since we implemented video a few years ago, at the start the uptake wasn't that big. But these days, we live in the age of Instagram and TikTok, and video content is the one that gets most engagement, and so people are kind of used to it. And
is there a direct correlation between? Is there a direct correlation between products with video reviews and the conversion rate on those products versus products without video reviews, for example?
Off the top of my head, I know that the conversion is better, but I'd have to, look up the numbers, because I don't want to,
we could just make them up, Thomas, because we'll just say they're 27%. As long as you choose an unusual number like that, I think it's fine. But generally speaking, they will convert better. Just exactly the numbers.
Yes.
Okay, and I suppose this leaks into user-generated content a little bit. But do you think it's harder for people to incentivize those reviews for the more rich media reviews, the photo and video reviews? Do you think you need to do more work to get those, or do you think it's a similar process?
It's a similar amount of work. But it's good to, generally for your business, the more rich media reviews you have, the better for you. So you need to try to incentivize them as much as possible. And you could, for example, offer an extra coupon or a higher value coupon if somebody actually adds, under a condition that somebody adds rich media.
I think that's what you mentioned earlier about packaging as well. It's one of the things that great packaging makes a difference with that, because if you have packaging that has a story on it, or encourages you to share, that makes a big difference in terms of people wanting to take a picture. I remember Monzo, when that first came out, this is quite a difficult one because it's a credit card, so it's difficult for people to share that, but they created within their packaging, the way the card was stored, you could take a picture of the card and it would cover all of the sensitive details and encourage people to share that way. But the packaging, I think, makes a big a big difference.
You're more of a specialist here, you know. I do believe I never used Monzo, but I know what you mean. Yeah, it's
but it's
the
any
first
company where
reaction
the
when you open up.
packaging is any company where the
It stands
packaging
out.
is good. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
you wanna, or any brand that you particularly relate to or that resonates with you, or any brand that holds status, you want to take a picture of that and share it.
Lewis, just I was thinking about, sorry to interrupt you. I was thinking about the previous topic about how the reviews with UGC are comparing to just text-based reviews. So we did. I just it came to my mind. We did statistics on our own data, and we tried 3 different sorting algorithms for sort of A/B testing. One is just by time. So whether, if there's any UGC, it's there by accident. It was just, posted recently. Then we tested sorting by UGC, and then the third sorting was by what we call, it's our internal innovation. It's called smart reviews. So we use AI to figure out, which reviews are the best ones. And obviously the smart reviews came out as the best one. But UGC was on the second place after the normal sorting. So I believe we had an improvement of about 30%, between 20 and 30% over the normal sorting compared to UGC. And then there was about 20% improvement compared to, between the UGC and the smart one. Okay. So it was relative to the UGC one, about 20-30% better.
I mean, that's interesting to me, not just on the UGC bit, but the fact that not just having reviews on your site, but what reviews you're showing in the main section of that product, or what reviews are visible first.
Yes.
So the data shows that makes a big difference. Not just
people still read reviews; they don't just want to see the photos. They're not scrolling through Instagram and not doing, not paying attention. They want to actually read the text of that review.
Is there a specific, with your technology that's looking at reviews and analyzing them, and it's obviously there's a lot of automation going there in terms of what reviews to place at the top in terms of ordering or filtering. Did you find any specific correlation in these types of reviews with this type of information do particularly well? I'm just thinking in terms of, when you're asking for reviews, prompting in terms of here's the types of things that our customers like to talk about in our reviews, or almost guiding the elements of what should be talked about, not writing the review for people, but if you're seeing a particular type of review or review with specific content working well, have you seen any correlation with the types of reviews that work better than others?
That's not something for me to know or decide. This is the algorithm that does it automatically. But overall, you can see whether a review is high quality or bad quality. So things like, a review that only talks about the delivery and not about the product, that's a bad review. A extremely short review that doesn't talk about anything at all is going to be a bad review. But a comprehensive one, telling the story about a product, explaining how different features work, that will be a good review. And if you can put those at the very top, you're winning.
Okay, perfect. I mean, it does go to show how important things like logistics partners and delivery and stuff are for customers, because I actually saw authors on Amazon complaining because they were getting poor reviews on their book because the delivery was poor from Amazon.
But the book itself, it's another thing. It's not like they have much control over Christmas delivery times.
Exactly. So we talk quite a lot about on-site, how you can use reviews on site, how you can collect them. Are there other ways that reviews can be used, not just on site, thinking about off-site platforms? What are the ways you've seen people using reviews, and how have you seen them use them?
I actually have a few websites that I have saved, so I'll show you. So here we have Calvin Klein. They started a campaign, I think, in 2014. It's on Instagram, Twitter, basically hashtag #MyCalvins, where they encourage people who wear their products to share their stories, their photos, and those people get what do they get out of it? They get a bit of a to show off in the community, and maybe Calvin Klein will like their photos and publish them on their own website, so you can see people just wearing their products, their garments. Same thing for GoPro. So those brands are creating a community by allowing and praising their own users and promoting the users that share content about how they use their products in real life. And obviously very visual things are a prime product to do that with. So you've got fashion. You've got things like GoPro. GoPro is all about photos and videos. So why not share what your customers have recorded on your social media? It's showing your product in real life situations. So those would be the first two examples, and we can see that. I don't know when this article, that was 2016. So that was just 2 years in. And over those 2 years, you see that over 440,000 photos. I mean, we have to give Calvin Klein some credit because they've been a massive brand before that, but they kind of realized like, wow, we have millions of people wearing our brands. All of them have iPhones and they're sharing stuff on social media. Why don't we try to get them to express the love to our brands in there as well? And it was a great initiative.
I think one of the other ways that we've seen and we've kind of tested internally as well is taking on site, whether it's text reviews or image reviews, and using those in social ads too, right? Yeah. So having that either within carousels or the creative of the ad. Is that something that you're seeing a lot?
More and more these days, and we're actually working on a feature where you'd be able to generate your review into something that you can share on social media, awesome. Including the text, including the user-generated photo. So you'd be able to share it on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever the customers are. Yeah. I think that we will be going more and more into integration of the reviews that have been left on your Shopify site and then pushing them, into other channels.
So, yeah, that sounds. I mean, building that creative and being able to push it out is definitely going to save some time.
Yeah. I just to reiterate, Lewis, this what we are seeing right now, and the new feature that we are working on, it works great for visual products. For other types of products, not so much. But if you have something visual, it's definitely something that you need to explore.
But even those, like you say, even those, for GoPro and Calvin Klein, it's a slightly different thing. But even those text reviews, just having the text review, say for example, if you're doing a carousel, to have the image of the product and then the review as a secondary image.
It's still something that you should probably use, yes, but might not work as great, but it will still help you. Yeah,
perfect.
So agreed here. So since we're on a topic, where we could use those reviews, this user-generated content, I wanted to show a few more examples. So reviews are there. Once you collect them, you need to use them for that risk reversal wherever it is humanly possible. So in here, for example, you're showing a product. Wherever you show your product, you should have reviews if possible. Because your product page where you put the review stars is just one way to present your product. And if you present your product in an email, like what you can see on my screen, that's yet another place where you could use the reviews in order to get the customer to perform the action that you want to. In this case, it would be clicking on this link. Where you can see, okay, so this is this watch, and wow, it's got 4.8 stars. This is what other people think about it. Wow, and we actually have a little snippet of it. Same thing for your Google Shopping ads. Guess which ones of those phones are going to get clicked on. It's the ones with the reviews, right? Because it reduces the risk. It's like, wow, why would I click on music Magpie store if nobody rated this? Who are those guys? Like, nobody uses them. I don't know, but the eBay the outlet shop UK, it's got 40,000 reviews on this. Like, wow, I probably can trust this. And the same thing for and regarding the numbers, you get about 20 to 25% more clicks when you have reviews on your Google Shopping ads. Same with rich snippets. So if you put reviews on your search, you get about 20 to 25% more clicks on so before you installed it, and suddenly when you install those stars in there, you're getting more clicks automatically, just because of the social proof, because of the stars that you're showing. Yeah. So just a few things to mention.
Perfect. I think one of the things that's on a lot of people's minds at the moment is, average order value of customers, customer retention, customer loyalty, all those things. We touched on some of those things, but how would you go about in terms of looking at reviews or user-generated content and attempting to have people's average order value or average basket value increase on an order? Are the ways that you can recommend using reviews to help increase that average order value?
It's not nothing different than what you would do with reviews overall. Just show the stars everywhere where you can, where it is useful. And both your conversions as well as your average order value will increase. It's strongly correlated with each other. So it's not that much different from each other. The reviews influence both things in a similar way.
Okay, perfect. So, and I suppose one of the other questions that we get quite a lot is, the difference between product level reviews and company level reviews.
Yeah.
And whether, there's obviously big players out there like, Trustpilot, whose focus generally is on company level reviews, and you'll see a lot of Trustpilot widgets on Shopify sites and all over the internet with company level reviews. Do you think there needs to be a separation between company level and product level reviews? And do you think you need different technology for that? Trustpilot is kind of a mark unto itself, people recognize that, whereas I think maybe they look less for the technology partner or the platform on product level reviews. Is that something you see often, people using multiple review apps?
I think that both types of reviews are just as useful, but they should be used in different scenarios. So product level reviews, they should be used on product pages, and everywhere you are promoting a certain product, a specific product. But where your customer in their customer journey is looking at your product and is thinking to buy that specific product. But company level reviews, they are important if in the context of your customer thinking about your company overall. So that would be on your main homepage. If they are landing on your homepage, that means that they are maybe not sure about what they want to buy. And that means you want to reverse the risk, not on the product level, but on the company level. So you want to show a bunch of reviews, let's say on a carousel, that are talking about how good your customer service is, how good your delivery times are, how, anything that is on the company level. Which normally falls into customer service, delivery times, and anything like that, customer care. And you will put that, like I said, on the homepage. You can put that in the footer, where people will look at, usually in the footer, you have the delivery information and returns. And so in that context, you want to put some social proof and risk reversal to make people more trust you a little bit more. Apart from footer, on the very opposite side of the website, right at the top, because people will be always in the frame of mind. Okay, so let me explore this product. Let me look through the nav bar. Let me explore different categories of products, maybe. And when they are browsing around, you want to make sure that they are presented with the social proof about your whole company and not about a product.
Perfect.
That would be my few cents here.
And do you, in terms of measuring success or statistics, or you've obviously got engines on your app that are looking at reviews that are more successful, are there any particular types of statistics that you look at when trying to analyze whether your reviews are successful? Any targets, any kind of dashboards that you look at in terms of, from a merchant level, looking at reviews?
Sure. So you once you install the review app, what you could do is look at your conversion rates and how they were affected. I recommend doing A/B tests. So if you have any capability of let's say switching reviews on and off, just to see how your products are affected for a randomized number of customers, the basic A/B test stuff to see the real numbers of how your sales are affected. Within our own app, we have an A/B test functionality where you can test different sorting algorithms, where you can you get to test it for 1 month, and then you see a result between smart reviews sorting by UGC and just normal sorting by time, and that any of our customers can do that and actually see what is the impact. But no matter if it's an online shop or a SaaS company like ours, the key to really improving and directing your efforts in the right way is to base your decisions on data. And if you can produce some data for your company regarding reviews, that's good. There are some ways.
Perfect. I think that largely answers Laura asked the question in chat there about can you flip all good reviews to the top, and good reviews is in inverted commas. Like you said, there's a number of different ways you can sort reviews. I suppose it depends on what you're defining as a good review, and like you say, having something where
high quality,
data driven, that shows this is a good review, and the data suggests that based on our tests is a good way to do that.
We had a few customers that had where their products were extremely visual. And for them, they run the A/B test, and actually the sorting by UGC works better than the smart reviews, and they made the decision to just switch to that and not pay additional money for the ability to smart sort. But there are certain cases, and that's why you should be testing your strategies. Like
we had a customer a while ago, and they were selling really high quality camera bags essentially. And one of the poor reviews that they got, the review said that the product failed after 15 years or something.
15 years, that's actually a positive review.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to take that any of those 1 or 2 star reviews that talked about the product failing after a long period of time and use them in advertising, because we thought it was just a great it was a great comment, even though it was a 1 star review. So it just goes to show you can't always just put those negative, so-called negative reviews in terms of star rating down to the fact that it's not a good review.
Look at the level of negative reviews that we are actually getting.
Like, wow. I think that's also it's a good it's a good way to look at it, right, in terms of percentage sentiment towards the brand, both on in terms of reviews. And I think that, to your question, Laura, sorting the reviews is obviously a preferable thing to do for a brand. I think the moment you make it not possible for people to read some of the less favorable reviews, or make it very difficult for them to view that, it will definitely impact trust, and it will impact experience. So definitely order the reviews to what you want on top, but make sure the other stuff is accessible to you. And I think we said earlier, make sure you're responding to that stuff publicly, and actively showing your community that you are that you're dealing with the negative reviews in a positive way. That's often much more impactful than just a 5-star review that says something like great product or great company, which is like Thomas said earlier, it's fairly low.
A good mix.
Yeah, for sure. If anybody's got any questions, now would be the time to get those submitted. Just whilst we're waiting to see if any come through, Thomas, is there anything that we missed out? Is there anything I didn't ask you? Is there anything that you wanted to add?
Please shoot. Oh, you mean you're asking me?
Yeah, so we just if there's we're going to wait for so many questions. If there's any questions that come through in the next minute or so, we'll answer those. But is there anything that you wanted to add to anything we might have missed so far?
I think we covered quite a lot. Nothing comes to my mind really. I don't think so. I'm not sure. But what I could share is that I think in the next few years we'll see more and more video. Just like we see, it seems that reviews are always a few years behind, but always follow what the big social media platforms are doing. And we've seen an explosion of video happening, especially on social media like LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, TikTok's predominantly just video in the last 2-3 years, and I think it's going to be a year or two before most of the review apps, if you don't have video, like, why are you even here? Because we know video sells best, and that's what we are expecting from a review app like that.
I think from me, the only thing I would add, and this goes for anything we ever talk about on these things, is that these we're talking about reviews and user generated content here in isolation, but obviously those things form part of a wider strategy, right? They are individual tactics within an overarching strategy, and they will be impactful, but all of the other stuff has to be in place as well. You still need to be driving new customers to your site. You still need to be looking after those loyal customers. You still have to be engaging people post-purchase. You still have to be doing everything else, but ensuring if you leave it to chance, the reviews that you're likely to see come through are the negative ones, unfortunately. People who are upset are much more likely to leave a review than people are happy most of the time, which is why having those things in place to incentivize those happy customers to leave reviews is really important. And then utilizing those reviews and that data in your advertising across your site, in off-site scenarios, as Thomas said, on Google Shopping, on SERPs, in all of these places is really important.
If there is one thing that I would like the participants to get out of this whole conversation is collect as many reviews as possible, and then use them everywhere you sell your product. And be it wherever your product is presented, obviously your website, obviously, and email marketing could be one of those things. Organic search results, ads, your social media posts, the leaflets that you create and give to your customers, anything, everywhere where your products are presented, add that risk reversal mechanism of social proof. Show people what others think about your company and your products, if it fits in well, and if it doesn't, make it fit in well, because it helps.
Perfect. Okay, if people want to find out more about your app, Thomas, your business, where can they go?
It's opinew.com. That is opinew.com. And if they want to schedule a call with Paul, who is our lovely customer success manager, he's awesome. There's a book a demo button if you're interested to hear more.
Perfect. And you integrate with Shopify, you're on the Shopify App Store, and people can go and try it out.
Yes.
Try it out immediately. Okay, perfect. Well, we haven't had any questions come through, but thank you so much, Thomas, for coming and joining us and talking about reviews and giving so much good information. Thank you to everyone who attended. This has all been recorded, so we'll be putting it on YouTube and out as audio, and no doubt we'll pull a blog together about this as well. But thank you all so much for coming, and we'll see you for the next one. Thanks a lot, Thomas.
Thanks for inviting. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everybody.
No worries. Thanks a lot, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.